If you were raised by a narcissist, this is how you can start to learn to trust yourself once again and listen to your intuition. So, if you had a narcissistic parent or they had some of those traits, then you would have been dealing with gaslighting, blame, shaming, being made to feel guilty, and often being afraid to be in your own body. So you start to lose touch with your own responses because you can numb and shut down just to start to feel safe, because your body can feel like a space that isn't safe anymore. And there can be a willingness to be shutting down our feelings, and then we get an overactive mind, and there's definitely self-doubt that comes into play because you're constantly being gaslit. So the first port of call will be most probably trauma therapy in some form, so looking for that so you can start to get back in touch with your body and be able to listen to yourself and trust the responses that you're feeling. Because the difficulty is we can be in situations where we then go into a trauma response, or the door slams and we go into a massive panic attack because we don't feel safe or we meet someone and we don't trust them, and we can start to feel all these memories kicking off around it, and it feels really familiar, and we're like, am I reading that person right, or is this old stuff getting triggered? So that's where it's really helpful to either work somatically or with the subconscious, or both, to be able to become a kind of clear channel, basically. So I got to a stage where I could understand the difference between what's being triggered, what's coming up, because I get flashes of memory, or there'd just be a whole kind of emotional bundle kicking off within me that really didn't relate to what was going on, or it'd be a heightened response to the situation because it mirrored something of old, for example. So that's a really important thing to do. And then learning to come back into conversation with our body to feel safe in our body. So for me, that was starting to do shiatsu practice and learning to come back into the body. I realized on the first weekend, I was like, wow, I'm like I'm in a heightened state all the time. It was horrible to come back into my body. It was not something that I wanted to do. And then, my work carried on from there, looking at the subconscious mind. And there's obviously such a close connection between the mind and body in that way. So finding ways of coming back into relationship with yourself somatically, because that's where all the intuitive information is. That's where we're going to be able to listen to the responses within us, to be able to read what's going on outside of us. So when we do start to be able to listen to those intuitive hits, or however we receive it, is then starting to act on it, being willing to listen and not override it with our intellect and our logic. So if you don't trust someone, just listen to that. If you get a growl, then don't deny it. Don't pretend that they've had a difficult time, or maybe they have, but don't let yourself railroad yourself with but they had trauma when they were a child. They had a difficult upbringing. I should let them X, Y, Z. It's like, no, just start to listen to your own response, which might be no, yeah? And that can be the scary bit, where we actually start to get this louder and louder voice of no. And that's where we might have to start dealing with particular relationships or dynamics, whether that's our boss, whether that's a relation, where we start to hear the response and actually act on it. And learning to start to put your needs first as well. That this is a really hard one for HSPs, people pleasers, perfectionists who've often had a parent like this or a caregiver like this, because you feel guilty. You feel like, oh, that's I shouldn't be doing this. This isn't a nice thing to do. And it's like, well, how are you going to start to know? How are you going to build healthy relationships? That's really what you're asking for. And if I often flip it around for my clients, if this was a situation your friend was in, would you want them to be treated like that? Would you want them to be in that situation? And the answer is always no. And it's so you are part of that ring of self-compassion. You are in there as well. So you're an equal to anybody else. So it's about being kind to yourself as well, and not overriding yourself to kind of keep giving to everybody else, because you'll just get sick is one of the things, as well as be desperately unhappy. So yeah, instead of trading your intuition for logic all the time, you're starting to take it seriously, take your responses seriously, and really not only listen to them, but act on them. So that takes intention, that takes purpose. And it will be a gradual process as well. You know, no one learns this overnight. There'll be a healing journey involved as well as you're unhooking all of this, and getting used to being this new person. I know I have people say to me now, oh my gosh, you're like one of the most boundaried people I know, for example. And that's all come from listening to my intuition. It wasn't always like that. That was learning over like 20 years. So your journey may not be as long as that, but it is a journey, you know. And I've had a supportive community of friends, of fellow, you know, students who were learning alongside me, and wonderful mentors that have helped me along the way to really love and listen and look after myself and give me feedback and as to what they feel was fair and not fair. So yeah, having that support is also great. But hopefully have a think about those other threads and see if they resonate with you. And if you're interested in learning to develop your intuition more, I've got a course coming up, Intuitive Development Level 1, which is training you to start to listen to your intuition by learning those practical skills, to start to help you make decisions around, you know, whether it's your health, your relationships, your work, so you can really start to respect yourself and listen to your own inner authority, because that's where you want to be heading.